हेलो एवरीवन, वेलकम बैक टू माय चैनल। तो आज के वीडियो में हम देखेंगे क्लास 12 एनसीईआरटी ज्योग्राफी, जिसमें आज हम देखेंगे चैप्टर 9 जो कि है प्लानिंग एंड सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंट इन इंडियन कॉन्टेक्स्ट। तो शुरू करते हैं हमारा आज का चैप्टर। द वर्ड प्लानिंग इज़ नॉट न्यू टू यू एज इट इज़ ए पार्ट ऑफ एवरीडे यूजेज. You must have used it with reference to preparation for your examination or visit to a hill station. It involves the process of thinking, formulation of a scheme or program, and implementation of a set of actions to achieve some goal. Though it is a very broad term, in this chapter it has been used with reference to the process of economic development. It is thus different from the traditional hit and miss methods by which reforms and reconstructions are often undertaken. Generally, there are two approaches to planning, that means sectoral planning and regional planning. The sectoral planning means formulation and implementation of the sets of schemes or programs aimed at development of various sectors of the economy, such as agriculture, irrigation, manufacturing, power, construction, transport, communication, social infrastructure, and services. There is no uniform economic development over space in any country. Some areas are more developed and some lag behind. This uneven pattern of development over space necessitates that the planners have a spatial perspective and draw the plans to reduce regional imbalance in development. This type of planning is termed as regional planning. Overview of planning perspective in India. India has centralized planning, and the task of planning in India has been entrusted to the Planning Commission. It is a statutory body headed by the Prime Minister and has a deputy chairman and members. The planning in the country is largely carried out through 5-year plans. The first 5-year plan was launched in 1951 and covered the period 1951 to 52 to 55 to 56. Second and third 5-year plans cover the period from 1956 to 57 to 1960 to 61 and 1961 to 62 to 1965 to 66 respectively. Two successive droughts during mid-60s and war with Pakistan in 1965 forced planned holiday in 1966 to 67 and 68 to 69. This period was covered by annual plans, which are also termed as rolling plans. The fourth 5-year plan began in 1969 to 70 and ended in 73 to 74. Following this, the fifth 5-year plan began in 1974 to 75, but it was terminated by the then government 1 year earlier, that means in 1977 to 78. The sixth 5-year plan took off in 1980. The seventh 5-year plan covered the period between 1985 and 1990. Once again, due to the political instability and initiation of liberalization policy, the eighth 5-year plan got delayed. It covered the period 1992 to 1997. The ninth 5-year plan covered the period from 1997 to 2002. The 10th plan covered the period from 2002 to 2007. The 11th plan covered the period from 2007 to 12. The 12th 5-year plan initiated in 2012 with a focus on faster, more inclusive and sustainable growth. On 1st January 2015, Niti Aayog was formed by replacing the Planning Commission of India. Niti Aayog is set up with the objective of involving the states in economic policy making in India for providing strategic and technical advice to the central and state governments. Target area planning. The planning process has to take special care of those areas which have remained economically backward. As you know, the economic development of a region depends upon its resource base, but sometimes resource-rich regions also remain backward. The economic development also requires technology as well as investment beside the resource. With the planning experience of about 1.5 decades, it was realized that regional imbalances in economic development were getting accentuated. In order to arrest the accentuation of regional and social disparities, the Planning Commission introduced the target area and target group approaches to planning. Some of the examples of programs directed towards the development of target areas are Command Area Development Program, Drought Prone Area Development Program, Desert Development Program, Hill Area Development Program, the Small Farmers Development Agency, and Marginal Farmers Development Agency, which are the examples of the target group program. In the 8th Five-Year Plan, Special Area Program were designed to develop infrastructure in hill areas, northeastern states, tribal areas, and backward areas. Hill Area Development Program. Hill Area Development Programs were initiated during 5th Five-Year Plan, covering 15 districts comprising all the hilly districts of Uttar Pradesh, present Uttarakhand, Mikir Hill, and North Kachar Hills of Assam, Darjeeling district of West Bengal, and Nilgiri district of Tamil Nadu. The National Committee on the Development of Backward Area in 1981 recommended that all the hill areas in the country having height above 600 meter and not covered under tribal sub-plan be treated as backward hill areas. The detailed plans for the development of hill areas were drawn keeping in view their topographical, ecological, social, and economic conditions. These programs aimed at harnessing the indigenous resources of the hill areas through development of horticulture, plantation agriculture, animal husbandry, poultry, forestry, and small-scale and village industry. Drought-prone area program. This program was initiated during the 4th Five-Year Plan with the objective of providing employment to the people in drought-prone areas and creating productive assets. Initially, this program laid emphasis on the construction of labor-intensive civil works, but later on it emphasized on irrigation projects, land development programs, afforestation, grassland development, and creation of basic rural infrastructure such as electricity, roads, market, credit, and services. National Committee on Development of Backward Areas reviewed the performance of this program. It has been observed that this program is largely confined to the development of agricultural and allied sectors, with major focus on restoration of ecological balance. Since growing population pressure is forcing the society to utilize the marginal lands for agriculture and thereby causing ecological degradation, there is a need to create alternative employment opportunities in the drought-prone areas. The other strategies of development of these areas include adoption of integrated watershed development approach at the micro level, the restoration of ecological balance between water, soil, plants, and human, and animal population should be a basic consideration in the strategy of development of drought-prone areas. Planning Commission of India identified 67 districts, entire or partly of the country prone to drought. Irrigation Commission 1972 introduced the criterion of 30% irrigated area and demarcated the drought-prone areas. Broadly, the drought-prone area in India spread over semi-arid and arid tract of Rajasthan, Gujarat, Western Madhya Pradesh, Marathwada region of Maharashtra, Rayalaseema and Telangana plateaus of Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka plateau and highlands and interior parts of Tamil Nadu. The drought-prone areas of Punjab, Haryana, and North Rajasthan are largely protected due to spread of irrigation in these regions. Case study: Integrated Tribal Development Project in Bharmor region. The name Bharmor is derived from Sanskrit word Brahmor. In this book, Bharmor has been used to retain the colloquial flavor. Bharmor tribal area comprises Bharmor and Holi tehsils of Chamba districts of Himachal Pradesh. It is a notified tribal area since 21 November 1975. Bharmor is inhabited by Gaddi, a tribal community who have maintained a distinct identity in the Himalayan region as they practiced transhuman and converse through Gadiala Gadiali dialect. This region lies between 32° 11' north and 32° 41' north latitudes and 76° 22' east and 76° 53' east longitudes. Spread over an area of about 1,818 square kilometers, the region mostly lies between 1,500 meter to 3,700 meter above the mean sea level. This region, popularly known as the homeland of Gaddis, is surrounded by lofty mountains on all sides. It has Pir Panjal in the north and Dholadhar in the south. In the east, an extension of Dholadhar converges with Pir Panjal near Rohtang Pass. The river Ravi and its tributary, the Budhil and Tundehen, drain this territory and carved out deep gorges. These rivers divide the region into four physiographic divisions called Holi, Khani, Kukti, and Tundha areas. Varmore experiences freezing weather conditions and snowfall in winter. Its mean monthly temperature in January remains 4 degrees Celsius and in July 25 degrees Celsius. Varmore tribal region has harsh climate conditions, low resource base, and fragile environment. These factors have influenced the society and economy of the region. According to the 2011 census, the total population of Varmore subdivision was 39,113, that means 21 persons per square kilometer. It is one of the most economically and socially backward areas of Himachal Pradesh. Historically, the Gaddis have experienced geographical and political isolation and socio-economic deprivation. The economy is largely based on agriculture and allied activities such as sheep and goat rearing. The process of development of tribal areas of Barmur started in 1970s when Gaddis were included among scheduled tribes. Under the 5th Five-Year Plan, the tribal sub-plan was introduced in 1974 and Barmur was designated as one of the 5 integrated tribal development projects in Himachal Pradesh. This area development plan was aimed at improving the quality of life of the Gaddis and narrowing the gap in the level of development between Barmur and other areas of Himachal Pradesh. This plan laid the highest priority on development of transport and communications, agriculture and allied activities, and social and community services. The most significant contribution of tribal sub-plan in Barmur region is the development of infrastructure in terms of schools, healthcare facilities, potable water, roads, communications, and electricity. But the villages located along the river Ravi in Holi and Khani areas are the main beneficiaries of infrastructural development. The remote villages in Tundhe and Kukti areas still do not have sufficient infrastructure. The social benefits derived from ITDP include tremendous increase in literacy rate, improvement in sex ratio, and decline in child marriage. The female literacy rate in the region increased from 1.88% in 1971 to 65% in 2011. The difference between males and females in literacy level, that means gender inequality, has also declined. Traditionally, the Gaddis had subsistence agricultural cum pastoral economy, having emphasis on food grains and livestock production. But during the last 3 decades of 20th century, the cultivation of pulses and other cash crops has increased in the Vermont region. But the crop cultivation is still done with traditional technology. The declining importance of pastoralism in the economy of the region can be gauged from the fact that at present only about 1/10 of the total households practice transhumance. But the Gaddis are still very mobile as a sizable section of them migrate to Kangra and surrounding areas during winter to earn their livings from wage labor. Sustainable development. The term development is generally used to describe the state of particular societies and the process of changing experienced by them. During a fairly large period of human history, the state of societies has largely been determined by the interaction processes between human societies and their biophysical Environment. The process of human-environment interaction depend upon the level of technology and institutions nurtured by a society. While the technology and institutions have helped in increasing the pace of human-environment interaction, the momentum thus generated in return has accelerated technological progress and transformation and creation of institutions. Hence, development is a multidimensional concept and signifies the positive, irreversible transformation of the economy, society, and environment. The concept of development is dynamic and has evolved during the second half of 20th century. In the post-World War II era, the concept of development was synonymous to economic growth, which is measured in terms of temporal increase in gross national product and per capita income or per capita consumption. But even the countries having high economic growth experience steady rise in poverty because of its unequal distribution. So in the 1970s, the phrase such as redistribution with growth and equity were incorporated in the definition of development. While dealing with the questions related to redistribution and equity, it was realized that the concept of development cannot be restricted to the economic sphere alone. It also includes the issues such as improving the well-being and living standard of people, availing of the health, education, and equality of opportunity, and ensuring political and civil rights. By 1980s, development emerged as a concept encapsulating widespread improvement in social as well as material well-being of all in a society. The notion of sustainable development emerged in the wake of general rise in the awareness of environmental issues in the late 1960s in the Western world. It reflected the concern of people about undesirable effects of industrial development on the environment. The publication of the population bomb by Ehrlich in 1968 and the limits to growth by Meadows and others in 1972 further raised the level of fear among environmentalists in particular and people in general. This sets the scenario for the emergence of new models of development under a broad phrase sustainable development. Concerned with the growing opinions of world community on the environmental issues, the United Nations established a World Commission on Environment and Development headed by the Norwegian Prime Minister Gro Harlem Brundtland. The Commission gave its report, also known as Brundtland Report, entitled Our Common Future in 1987. The report defines sustainable development as a development that meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. Sustainable development takes care of ecological, social, and economic aspects of development during the present times and pleads for conservation of resources to enable the future generation to use these resources. It takes into account the development of whole humankind who is a common future. Case study: Indira Gandhi Canal, Nahar Command Area. Indira Gandhi Canal, previously known as Rajasthan Canal, is one of the largest canal systems in India. Conceived by Kanwar Sen in 1948, the canal project was launched on 31 March 1958. The canal originates at Harike Barrage in Punjab and runs parallel to Pakistan border at an average distance of 40 km in Thar Desert, Marustali of Rajasthan. The total planned length of the system is 9,060 km, catering to the irrigation needs of a total cultivable command area of 19.63 lakh hectares. Out of the total command area, about 70% was envisaged to be irrigated by flow system and the rest by lift system. The construction work of the canal has been carried out through two stages. The command area of stage 1 lies in the Ganganagar, Hanumangarh and northern part of Bikaner districts. It has a gently undulating topography and its cultivable command area is 5.53 lakh hectares. The command area of Stage 2 is spread over Bikaner, Jaisalmer, Barmer, Jodhpur, Nagaur, and Churu districts, covering cultural command area of 14.10 lakh hectare. It comprises desert land dotted with shifting and dunes and temperature soaring to 50 degrees Celsius in summer. In the lift canal, the water is lifted up to make it to flow against the slope of the land. All the lift canals of Indira Gandhi Canal system originate at the left bank of main canal, while all the canals on the right bank of main canal are flow channels. Irrigation in Stage 1 command area of the canal was introduced in early 1960s, whereas the command area of Stage 2 began receiving irrigation in mid-1980s. The introduction of canal irrigation in this dry land has transformed its ecology, economy, and society. It has influenced the environmental conditions of the region both positively as well as negatively. The availability of soil moisture for a longer period of time and various afforestation and pasture development programs under CAD have resulted in gritting the land. This has also helped in reducing wind erosion and siltations of canal system. But the intensive irrigation and excessive use of water has led to emergence of twin environmental problems of waterlogging and soil salinity. Introduction of canal irrigation has brought about a perceptible transformation in the agricultural economy of the region. Soil moisture has been a limiting factor in successful growing of crops in this area. Spread of canal irrigation has led to increase in cultivated area and intensity of cropping. The traditional crops sown in area, gram, bajra and jowar, have been replaced by wheat, cotton, groundnut and rice. This is a result of intensive irrigation. This intensive irrigation no doubt initially has led to tremendous increase in agricultural and cultural livestock productivity. This has also caused waterlogging and soil salinity, and thus in the long run it hampers the sustainability of agriculture. Measures for promotion of sustainable development. The ecological sustainability of Indira Gandhi Canal project has been questioned by various scholars. Their point of view has also largely been validated by the course of development this region has taken during the last 4 decades, which has resulted in degradation of physical environment. It is a hard fact that attaining sustainable development in the command area requires major thrust upon the measures to achieve ecological sustainability. Hence, 5 of the 7 measures proposed to promote sustainable development in the command area are meant to restore ecological balance. The first requirement is strict implementation of water management policy. The canal project envisages protective irrigation in Stage 1 and extensive irrigation of crops and pasture development in Stage 2. In general, the cropping pattern shall not include water-intensive crops. It shall be adhered to and people shall be encouraged to grow plantation crops such as citrus fruits. The CAD programs such as lining of watercourses, land development and leveling and Varavandi system, equal distribution of canal water in the command area of outlet shall be effectively implemented to reduce the conveyance loss of water. The areas affected by waterlogging and soil salinity shall be reclaimed. The eco-development through afforestation, shelter belt plantation and pasture development is necessary, particularly in the fragile environment of Stage 2. The social sustainability in the region can be achieved only if the land allottees having poor economic background are provided adequate financial and institutional support for cultivation of land. The economic sustainability in the region cannot be attained only through development of agriculture and animal husbandry. The agricultural and allied activities have to develop along with other sectors of economy. This shall lead to diversification of economic base and establishment of functional linkages between basic villages, agro-service centers and market centers. तो ये है इस चैप्टर का एक्सरसाइज. तो इसी के साथ हमारा ये चैप्टर कंप्लीट होता है. इसलिए अब हम शुरू करेंगे चैप्टर 10 जो कि है ट्रांसपोर्ट एंड कम्युनिकेशन. तो शुरू करते हैं हमारे ये चैप्टर. We use many items in our daily life. From toothpaste to our bed tea, milk, clothes, soaps, food items, etc. are required every day. All these can be purchased from the market. Have you ever thought as to how these items are bought from the site of production? All the production is meant for consumption. From the fields and factories, the produce is brought to the place from where consumers purchase it. It is the transportation of these items from the site of their production to the market which makes them available to the consumer. We not only use material things like fruits, vegetables, books, clothes, etc., but also use ideas, views, and messages in our daily life. Do you know we exchange our views, ideas, and messages from one place to another or one individual to another while communicating with the help of various means? The use of transport and communication depends upon our need to move things from place of their availability to the place of their use. Human beings use various methods to move goods, commodities, ideas from one place to another. The following diagram shows the major means of transportation. Means of transport: land, water, air. लैंड में है रोड, रेलवे, पाइपलाइन. वाटर में है इनलैंड, सीवेज एंड ओशनिक रूट. एयर में है नेशनल और इंटरनेशनल. Land transport. The pathways and unmetalled roads have been used for transportation in India since ancient times. With the economic and technological development, metal roads and railways were developed to move large volume of goods and people from one place to another. Ropeways, cableways, and pipelines were devised to cater to the demands of transporting specific goods under special circumstances. Road transport. India has one of the largest road networks in the world with a total length of 54.7 lakh kilometers 2014 to 15. About 85% of passenger and 70% of freight traffic are carried by roads every year. Road transport is relatively suitable for shorter distance travel. Do you know Sher Shah Suri built the Shahi Royal Road to strengthen and consolidate his empire from the Indus Valley to the Sonar Valley in Bengal. This road was renamed the Grand Trunk GT Road during the British period, connecting Calcutta to and Peshawar. At present, it extends from Amritsar to Kolkata. It is bifurcated into two segments: A. National Highway NH1 from Delhi to Amritsar and B. NH2 from Delhi to Kolkata. Road transport in modern sense was very limited in India before World War II. The first serious attempt was made in 1943 when Nagpur Plan was drawn. This plan could not be implemented due to lack of coordination among the princely states and British India. After independence, 20-year road plan 1961 was introduced to improve the conditions of roads in India. However, roads continue to concentrate in and around urban centers. Rural and remote areas had the least connectivity by road. For the purpose of construction and maintenance, roads are classified as National Highway NS, State Highways SS, Major District Roads, and Rural Roads. National Highway. The main roads which are constructed and maintained by central government are known as the National Highways. These roads are meant for interstate transport and movements of defense men and material in strategic areas. These also connect the state capitals, major cities, important ports, railway junctions, etc. The length of the national highways was increased from 19,700 km in 1951 to 70,934 km in 2008 to 9. The national highways constitute only 1.67% of the total road length, but carry 40% of the road traffic. The National Highways Authority of India was operationalized in 1995. It is an autonomous body under the Ministry of Surface Transport. It is entrusted with the responsibility of development, maintenance, and operation of national highways. This is also the apex body to improve the quality of the roads designated as national highways. National Highways Development Projects. NHAI has taken up some major projects in the country under different phases. Golden Quadrilateral. It comprises construction of 5,846 km long, 4 or 6 lane high density traffic corridor to connect India's four big metro cities of Delhi, Bombay, Chennai, Kolkata. With the construction of Golden Quadrilateral, the time, distance, and cost of movement among the mega cities of India will be considerably minimized. North-South and East-West corridors. North-South corridors aim at connecting Srinagar in Jammu and Kashmir with Kanyakumari in Tamil Nadu, including Kochi Salenspur, with 4,076 km long road. The East-West corridor has been planned to connect Silchar in Assam with the port town of Porbandar in Gujarat with 3,640 km of road length. State highways. These are constructed and maintained by state governments. They join the state capitals with district headquarters and other important towns. These roads are connected to national highways. These constitute 4% of total road length in the country. District roads. These roads are the connecting link between district headquarters and the other important nodes in the district. They account for 14% of the total road length of the country. Rural roads. These roads are vital for providing links in the rural areas. About 80% of the total road length in India are categorized as rural roads. There is regional variation in the density of rural road because these are influenced by the nature of the terrain. Other roads. Other roads include border roads and international highways. The Border Roads Organization was established in May 1960 for accelerating economic development and strengthening defense preparedness through rapid and coordinated improvement of strategically important roads along the northern and northeastern boundary of the country. It is a premier multifaceted construction agency. It has constructed roads in high altitude mountainous terrain joining Chandigarh with Manali, Himachal Pradesh and Leh Ladakh. This road runs at an average altitude of 4,270 meters above the mean sea level. Apart from the construction and maintenance of roads in strategically sensitive areas, the Bureau also undertakes snow clearance in high altitude areas. The international highways are meant to promote the harmonious relationship with the neighboring countries by providing effective links with India. The distribution of roads is not uniform in the country. Density of roads, length of roads per 100 square kilometer of area varies from only 12.14 km in Jammu and Kashmir to 517.77 km in Kerala, with a national average of 142.68 km in 2011. The density of road is high in most of the northern states and major southern states. It is low in the Himalayan region, northeastern region, Madhya Pradesh and Rajasthan. Why does this variation occur? Nature of terrain and the level of economic development are the main determinants of density of roads. Construction of roads is easy and cheaper in the plain areas, while it is difficult and costly in hilly and plateau areas. Therefore, not only the density but also the quality of roads is relatively better in plains as compared to roads in high altitude areas, rainy and forested regions. Rail transport. Indian Railways network is one of the longest in the world. It facilitates the movement of both freight and passengers and contributes to the growth of economy. Mahatma Gandhi said the Indian Railways brought people of diverse cultures together to contribute to India's freedom struggle. Indian Railway was introduced in 1853 when a line was constructed from Bombay to Thane covering a distance of 34 km. Indian Railways is the largest government undertaking in the country. The length of Indian Railways network is 66,030 km as on 31 March 2015. Its very large size puts lot of pressure on a centralized railway management system. Thus, in India, the railway system has been divided into 16 zones. Table 10.3 shows the zone-wise performance of Indian Railways. Do you know, on the basis of width of the track of Indian Railways, three categories have been made. Broad gauge. The distance between rails in broad gauge is 1.676 meter. The total length of broad gauge lines was 58,825 km in March 2015. Meter gauge. The distance between rails is 1 meter. Its total length was 4,908 km in March 2015. Narrow gauge. The distance between the rails in this case is 0.762 meters or 0.610 meters. The total length of narrow gauge was 2,297 km in March 2015. It is generally confined to hilly areas. Indian Railways has launched extensive program to convert the meter and narrow gauge to broad gauge. Moreover, steam engines have been replaced by diesel and electric engines. This step has increased the speed as well as the haulage capacity. The replacement of steam engines run by coal has also improved the environment of the stations. Metro rail has revolutionized the urban transport system in Kolkata and Delhi. Replacement of diesel buses by CNG-run vehicles along with introduction of metro is a welcome step towards controlling the air pollution in urban centers. Konkan Railway. One of the important achievements of Indian Railways has been the construction of Konkan Railway in 1998. It is 760 km long rail route connecting Roha in Maharashtra to Mangalore in Karnataka. It is considered an engineering marvel. It crosses 146 rivers, streams, nearly 2,000 bridges and 91 tunnels. Asia's largest tunnel, which is nearly 6.5 km long, also lies on this route. The states of Maharashtra, Goa and Karnataka are partners in this undertaking. Areas around towns, raw material producing areas and of plantations and other commercial crops, hill station and cantonment towns were well connected by railways from British colonial era. These were mostly developed for the exploitation of resources. After the independence of the country, railway routes have been extended to other areas too. The most significant development has been the development of Konkan Railway along the western coast, providing a direct link between Mumbai and Mangaluru. Railway continues to remain the main means of transport for the masses. Railway network is relatively less dense in the hill states, northeastern states, central parts of India and Rajasthan. Water transport. Waterways is an important mode of transport for both passengers and cargo traffic in India. It is the cheapest means of transport and is more suitable for carrying heavy and bulky material. It is a fuel efficient and eco-friendly mode of transport. The water transport is of two types. First, inland waterways and second, oceanic waterways. Inland waterways. It was the chief mode of transport before the advent of railways. It, however, faced top competition from road and railway transport. Moreover, diversion of river water for irrigation purposes made them non-navigable in large parts of their coasts. India has 14,500 km of navigable waterways, contributing about 1% to the country's transportation. It comprises rivers, canals, backwaters, creeks, etc. At present, 5,685 km of major rivers are navigable by mechanized flat-bottom vessels. For the development, maintenance and regulation of national waterways in the country, the Inland Waterways Authority was set up in 1986. The following waterways have been declared as the national waterways by the government. Table 10.4. इसमें नेशनल वाटरवेज ऑफ इंडिया दिया गया है. Inland Waterways Authority has also identified 10 other inland waterways which could be upgraded. The backwaters Kadal of Kerala has special significance in inland waterway. Apart from providing cheap means of transport, they are also attracting large number of tourists in Kerala. The famous Nehru Trophy boat race, Vallamkalli, is also held in the backwaters. Oceanic routes. India has a vast coastline of approximately 7,570 km, including islands. 12 major and 185 minor ports provide infrastructural support to these routes. Oceanic routes play an important role in the transport sector of India's economy. Approximately 95% of India's foreign trade by volume and 70% by value moves through ocean routes. Apart from international trade, these are also used for the purpose of transportation between the island and the rest of the country. Air transportation. Air transport is the fastest means of movement from one place to the other. It has reduced distances by minimizing the travel time. It is very essential for a vast country like India, where distances are large and the terrain and climatic conditions are diverse. Air transport in India made a beginning in 1911 when air mail operation commenced over a little distance of 10 km between Allahabad and Naini, but its real development took place in post-independent period. The Airport Authority of India is responsible for providing safe, efficient air traffic and aeronautical communication services in the Indian airspace. The authority manages 125 airports. The air transport in India is managed by two corporations, Air India and Indian Airlines. After nationalization, now many private companies have also started passenger services. History of Indian Airlines. 1911, air transport in India was launched between Allahabad and Naini. 1947, air transport was provided by four major companies, namely Indian National Airways, Tata Sons Limited, Air Services of India and Deccan Airways. 1951, four more companies joined the services: Bharat Airways, Himalayan Aviation Limited, Airways India and Kalinga Airlines. 1953, air transport was nationalized and two corporations, Air India International and Indian Airlines, were formed. Now Indian Airlines is known as Indian. Air India. Air India provides international air services for both passengers and cargo traffic. It connects all the continents of the world through its services. The country's largest state-owned domestic carrier, Indian Airlines, dropped the word "airlines" from its name and is known as Indian with reference WEF December 8, 2005. The new brand name Indian now appears on both sides of the fuselage. The logo on the orange tail depicting IA has also been changed. It has been replaced by a new logo which is a partly visible blue wheel and is inspired by the Sun Temple at Konark, Odisha, symbolizing timeless motion, convergence and divergence. It also embodies strength as well as trust that has stood the test of time. In 2010, domestic movement involved 520.21 lakh passengers and about 23 lakh metric ton of cargo. Pavan Hans is the helicopter service operating in hilly areas and is widely used by tourists in northeastern sector. In addition, Pavan Hans Limited mainly provides helicopter services to petroleum sector and for tourism. Open Sky Policy. To help the Indian exporters and make their export more competitive, the government had introduced an open sky policy for cargo in April 1992. Under this policy, foreign allies or association of exporters can bring any freighters to the country. Oil and gas pipelines. Pipelines are the most convenient and efficient mode of transporting liquids and gases over long distances. Even solids can also be transported by pipelines after converting them into slurry. Oil India Limited, under the administrative setup of the Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas, is engaged in the exploration, production and transportation of crude oil and natural gas. It was incorporated in 1959 as a company. Asia's first cross-country pipeline covering a distance of 1,157 km was constructed by oil from Naharkatia oil field in Assam to Baruni refinery in Bihar. It was further extended up to Kanpur in 1966. Another extensive network of pipelines has been constructed in the western region of India, of which Ankleshwar, Koili, Mumbai High, Koili, and Hazarea, Vijaypur, Jagdishpur are most important. Recently, a 1256 km long pipeline connecting Salaya, Gujarat with Mathura, UP has been constructed. It supplies crude oil from Gujarat to Punjab, Jalandhar via Mathura. Oil is in the process of constructing a of 660 km long pipelines from Numligarh to Siliguri. Communication networks. Human beings have evolved different methods of communication over time. In earlier times, the messages were delivered by beating the drum or hollow tree trunks, giving indications through smoke or fire, or with the help of fast runners. Horses, camels, dogs, birds, and other animals were also used to send messages. Initially, the means of communication were also the means of transportation. Invention of post office, telegraph, printing press, telephone, satellite, etc. has made the communication much faster and easier. Development in the field of science and technology has significantly contributed in bringing about revolution in the field of communication. People use different modes of communication to convey the messages. On the basis of scale and quality, the mode of communication can be divided into following categories. Means of communication: personal, letter, telephone, telegraph, telegram, fax, email, internet, etc. Mass: radio, television, cinema, satellite, newspaper, magazine and books, public meetings, seminar and conferences, etc. Personal communication system. Among all the personal communication system, internet is the most effective and advanced one. It is widely used in urban areas. It enables the user to establish direct contact through email to get access to the world of knowledge and information. It is increasingly used for e-commerce and carrying out money transactions. The internet is like a huge central warehouse of data with detailed information on various items. The network through internet and email provides an efficient access to information at a comparatively low cost. It enables us with the basic facilities of direct communication. You might have noticed the proliferation of cyber cafes in urban areas. Mass communication system. Radio. Radio broadcasting started in India in 1923 by the Radio Club of Bombay. Since then, it gained immense popularity and changed the socio-cultural life of people. Within no time, it made a place in every household of the country. Government took this opportunity and brought this popular mode of communication under its control in 1930 under the Indian Broadcasting System. It was changed to All India Radio in 1936 and to Akashvani in 1957. All India Radio broadcasts a variety of programs related to information, education and entertainment. Special news bulletins are also broadcast at specific occasions like session of parliament and state legislatures. Television, TV. Television broadcasting has emerged as the most effective audiovisual medium for disseminating information and educating masses. Initially, the TV services were limited only to the national capital, where it began in 1959. After 1972, several other centers became operational. In 1976, TV was delinked from All India Radio (AIR) and got a separate identity as Doordarshan (DD). After NCERT IA, National Television DD1 became operational. Common national programs CNP were started for the entire network, and its services were extended to the backward and remote rural areas. Satellite communication. Satellites are mode of communication in themselves, as well as they regulate the use of other means of communication. However, use of satellite is getting a continuous and synoptic view of larger area has made satellite communication very vital for the country due to the economic and strategic reasons. Satellite images can be used for weather forecast, monitoring of natural calamities, surveillance of border areas, etc. On the basis of configuration and purposes, satellite system in India can be grouped into two: Indian National Satellite System (INSAT) and Indian Remote Sensing Satellite System (IRS). The NCERT, which was established in 1983, is a multi-purpose satellite system for telecommunication, meteorological observations, and for various other data and programs. The IRS satellite system became operational with the launching of IRS-IA in March 1988 from Baikonur in Russia. India has also developed her own launching vehicle, PSLV, Polar Satellite Launch Vehicle. These satellites collect data in several spectral bands and transmit them to the ground stations for various uses. The National Remote Sensing Center at Hyderabad provides facilities for acquisition of data and its processing. These are very useful in the management of natural resources. तो ये है इस चैप्टर का एक्सरसाइज। इसी के साथ हमारा ये चैप्टर भी कंप्लीट होता है। तो आज के वीडियो में हमने चैप्टर 9 और चैप्टर 10 कंप्लीट कर दिया है। तो अगर आप चैनल पर नए हैं तो चैनल को सब्सक्राइब कर दीजिए और नोटिफिकेशन आइकन पर क्लिक कर दीजिए ताकि आपको डेली वीडियो के अपडेट्स मिल सके। साथ ही अगर आपको वीडियो अच्छा लगे तो लाइक करिए और अपने दोस्तों के साथ शेयर कीजिए ताकि उन्हें भी हेल्प हो सके। तो हमारा ये वीडियो यहीं तक था। थैंक यू, थैंक्स फॉर वॉचिंग।